so I made it to the skate park. Everything's really wet, and I only see one skateboarder and a couple of BMX riders. That being said, I'm going to try to make use of anything that I can without it being super, super wet, and then we're going to have to hit a couple other spots. Cool, it's in focus. All right, so I left the park for 3 reasons. The first reason was it was super wet. The second reason was the park was closing, so I had to leave anyway. And the third reason was I wanted to change my setup. So for the rest of the video, you're going to see me using the Savants, which is the setup that I typically ride. However, I did one thing different. I flipped the hanger. On the kicktails, I've used the Tesseract for a really, really long time, and I've actually worn down almost an inch on each kicktail. So I have less leverage over the kicktail. So if I flip the hangers, it sits slightly lower, which gives me a little bit more, well, it sits more at an angle. So it gives me a little bit more leverage over the kicktail, and it actually worked very, very well. So yeah, you're going to see a lot of pretty cool flip tricks in a minute. All right, so pretty much there's no one here, which is kind of nice. I get to warm up, and yeah. But I'll use my phone for as long as I can, and when people start to show up, I'll probably switch over to the GoPro. So, yeah. At this point in the video, I'm still very much warming up. I do old school tricks and no comply tricks when I'm warming up, and then I move on to, I don't want to say traditional, I move on to a lot of like different flip tricks as I'm like all warmed up and everything. But my thoughts on the board, I've ridden this board for a long time, and so far it is my favorite board. Anything that I want done differently on the board has already been fixed in the new Basalt Tesseract. This is the first generation Tesseract, not the Basalt one. So the only complaints I have was it's kind of heavy, whereas the Basalt one is supposed to be slightly lighter. Let's see, it gets fiberglass shards in your fingers. As you've worn it down, you start to break up the pieces a little bit, and fiberglass shards will get in your hands, and that really sucks, especially if you do a lot of tricks. However, the new one is made of basalt, well, has basalt in it instead of fiberglass, so you're not going to get that. Favorite freestyle setup is as it is right now, with the hanger flipped, and then my skiffs are my onsens. The onsens are like the orangutan's harder wheel. They're like park wheel. Those slide a little bit on coping and things like that a little bit better than the skiffs do, but I'm used to landing on the skiffs. However, I keep cracking the cores of the skiffs. I get a set and then I crack them. Yeah, so if I'm gonna do really heavy landings from now on, I'll probably just use the onsens for a lot of that. But as far as the deck goes, I love it. free riding, which I'll do more videos with free riding in the Tesseract later, but for the most part, this video is just a lot of flip tricks, and they get better. Yeah, I'm really happy with some of the things that I've done in this video. For free riding, my favorite setup is on the widest wheelbase with the cast trucks, actually, instead of the Savants. The Savants hold the speed a lot better, but the cast trucks give just this dive to it. Excuse me. And that setup as well, I like to do more dance-like tricks with it. It gives this dive, and it just feels really great. Also, you don't really get to experience the really great rocker that this board has unless it's on the widest wheelbase. But for flip tricks and things like that, innermost wheelbase, and it feels pristine. Yeah. And that is it for this video.